Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Servants. Today we begin my Lost Belt 6.5 series covering the Servants release for the story chapter. And what a way to start out, one of my homeland's most well-known figures who has her origins possibly laying in the east, the second half to our dear sweet dragon boy, the hot goth from the land of the never-rising sun, Gunther, or, as she is known in Fate, Kriemhild. Or Kriemhild. Kriemhild is found throughout several Norse and Germanic stories and serves as an archetypical vengeful wife character. In fact, her name can be loosely translated to terrible battle, depending on which scholar you listen to, of course, as Krim originates from Grim, which means terrible or rage, and Hild means battle. She, much like Siegfried and Sigurd, has some real historical evidence as having actually existed, or at the very least is based on a real figure in history. She is believed to be based on Fridgund, a Frankish queen who is responsible for the death of Siegbert I by his brother, who she was married to. Siegbert is believed to be one of the possible origin points for Sigurd and Siegfried, and this murder is where Brunhild comes from as well. A different possible originating point from her comes from a woman named Ildgo, who was the very last wife of Attila the Hun and was the one who supposedly murdered him, but she is most well known for her appearances in her own story. For her literary significance, she appears as the main character of the tale Nibelungenlied, written in the 11th century by an unknown author. In it, Kriemhild is the daughter of Donkrat of Burgundy, a kingdom in Worms, Germany. The tale begins with a dream that Kriemhild has of her raising a hawk that is then killed by two eagles, which her mother then tells her means that she will come to love a man who will soon be killed. Soon after, Siegfried comes to the court of Burgundy with the intentions of taking Kriemhild as his wife. Note all of this occurs post the slaying of Fafnir, so at this point he is basically an immortal warrior save for the spot on his back, and he already has the Rheingold, making him rich. However, she is not permitted to see or speak with him for a year until he has proved his worth, which he does by assisting Burgundy in a war. After they meet, they immediately fall in love. However, there is a condition to allow Siegfried to marry Kriemhild, and that is that he is to help her brother Gunther marry Brunhild the warrior queen. He does so, and the two couples are wed, and Siegfried and Kriemhild leave for Xanten. There is a time skip of a few years, and now they have a son together who they named Gunther. Now, this is where things get kind of confusing because there are a total of 8 Scandinavian male names, and now we have a King Gunther and a baby Gunther, and I will try to indicate them as such. Then, one day, Brunhild invites Kriemhild and Siegfried to visit them back in Worms to view an ongoing tournament. While they appear to get on well on the surface, in private the two wives bicker at one another. Now, there are varying accounts as to what this bickering is about. One of them is about drinking water, one of them is about washing each other's hair, another one is about Brunhild believing that Gunther is in fact a higher ranking official to Siegfried. However, as Siegfried is not a part of the kingdom of Burgundy, they have no connection, so this claim is false. But this, I believe, is the one that is most commonly told in the Germanic version, so we're going to go with that. The two leave each other after Brunhild accuses Siegfried of being merely a vassal to Gunther. This has the potential to put the kingdoms of Burgundy and Xanten at war, but neither really desires it with one another, and Siegfried and Gunther are very good friends. So Gunther acquits Siegfried of the accusation, and Siegfried has to publicly declare that this is false to make sure the people of the kingdom know that they are still on good terms. This, however, does not fly well with Brunhild and a man named Hagen von Tronje, a Burgundian warrior who conspires with Brunhild to kill Siegfried. Brunhild is hesitant at first, but it does agree to help. Hagen informs Gunther of a fake military threat that is coming their way, and Siegfried opts to assist in this effort. Hagen then approaches Kriemhild and asks about Siegfried's weakness, under the context of needing it to protect him for when Siegfried leaves for war. At this point, Kriemhild still trusts Hagen, being from the same kingdom and not knowing that he's conspiring to kill her husband. She reveals the spot on his back, and Hagen gifts clothing to him that has a cross on the back centered at exactly where the spot is. The fake troops withdraw, and while Siegfried and Hagen are out hunting together, Hagen throws a javelin at the spot in his back, killing him whilst he is drinking in a stream. Now, there is some cultural significance to this as well that should be taken into mind. Killing someone with a javelin is indicative of killing a wild animal, as javelins were reserved almost exclusively for hunting animals. So, to kill such a great hero in such a way is a huge disrespect to him. The corpse is discovered and brought back to Burgundy to the dismay of everyone. When Hagen appears, the wound begins to bleed in what is known as cruentation, which is where the wound of a murder victim bleeds when it is in the presence of the one who murdered them. This sign indicates to Kriemhild what Hagen has done. Hagen then steals the Rheingold and throws it into the Rhine River. He does this to make sure that Kriemhild does not have the funds to raise an army against him or Burgundy. Kriemhild swears vengeance against Hagen and begins devising a plot. As the years go by, she is proposed to by Attila the Hun himself, and she travels to the land of the Huns to agree to the marriage. Then, on an occasion, she invites her Burgundian brothers to Attila's castle in Hungary. Among those invited is Hagen himself, who detects the scheme but is essentially peer pressured into going along. So, as that group is traveling across a bridge, they catch sight of a nixie, which is a type of water spirit that also exists exists in Ohio in the form of a frog, who tells them that all of them, save for a monk, will die should they continue. While they are warmly welcomed, the Burgundians openly carry their weapons, heeding the fairy's warning. Upon seeing Hagen, Kriemhild immediately demands answers as to why he killed her husband, and that he returned the stolen treasures to her. Something to note, Hagen is openly carrying Balmung, the sword of Siegfried, with him to insult Kriemhild, and then he further goes on to admit that he did indeed kill Siegfried and stole the gold, but that it was her fault for bickering with Brunhild, so the blame was on her. She remains calm for the time being, and the feast begins. The feast ends with an argument leading to a brawl between the two parties. In response, Hagen takes the child of Attila and Kriemhild and decapitates him in front of them. Kriemhild declares that if her brothers will give up Hagen, she will let them leave, but they refuse. Thus, they are all massacred, save for Hagen and King Gunther, who are captured and bound by a man named Dietrich. Both are brought before Kriemhild, bound tight, and she orders King Gunther decapitated. Hagen still refuses to tell her where he threw the gold, so Kriemhild herself cuts off his head. Then another hero who is present, the aforementioned monk named Hildebrand, makes a cameo, and feeling that so many of these heroes have died for so little, slashes Kriemhild at the waist. She declares that it is useless and that she feels no pain, to which he demands that she pick up a ring on the floor. As she goes to do so, she falls in half, dead. The story ends with the survivors mourning the deaths of so many. Historically, this is supposedly how the Burgundian kingdom came to ruin. The tale of Kriemhild is one that is short but powerful. She is a warrior who took the betrayal of her homeland into her own hands and slew all who stood in her way. There are other versions of the story that have minor changes, but this is more or less how the tale always goes. Honestly, it's surprising to see that she is not an Avenger, given that her tale is one focused almost solely on revenge, but a Berserker seems to fit her quite well. However, that is the story as it is written. But that is it. Kriemhild in the books. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Like the videos, it really does help out the channel. Subscribe to catch these as they go up. Follow my Twitch for significantly less structured content. Join the Discord down below. I also have a Twitter, but for now, keep your chin up. Peace.